Hey guys, Mineral here with another quick analysis video. For this one, I wanted to focus on the Guangzhou Charge and one particular composition that they brought out on Volskaya and Guangzhou. They had a lot of success with it, and I thought it was an interesting iteration that no other team, I believe, really experimented with, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So first of all, the Charge scout the composition, Fusion's composition. They spot the Mei and basically the bunker with the Roadhog. And they end up making two swaps. They end up swapping a Hotbutt to the Zarya here, and then Nero goes back and swaps the Mei to another sniper. Now, I do feel like these swaps, again, this is just speculation, who really knows, but it does feel like these swaps are made specifically against Fusion's composition. Now, how does this comp work? First of all, obviously you don't have the threat of the pull hook anymore, but you're basically playing an anti-hook composition. Right, like it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get value out of pull hooks if you're the Fusion. You have a lot of heroes who can protect themselves. Obviously, the snipers, the two snipers, we have Nero and Hap here, they will be nowhere near any pulls. You have Shu, who is generally going to stay away from the pulls as well. And you have Hotbutt and Rio, who can survive them with bubbles, slowly get charged up. And the biggest thing to understand here is that the Charge are not really looking for pull hooks. They're simply looking to survive in the frontline fight, essentially neutralize the Mei so that Mei doesn't get much value. Also, you have a chance for Nero and Happy to basically flank and open up the map slowly. Now, because the Fusion only have one sniper and EKO is generally going to be locked to the front line, helping his frontline fight, he's not going to be in a position to mark one of the flankers, which means naturally one of the flankers, I mean the snipers. So naturally one of the snipers is going to be more open on this attack. And this is only a composition that the Charge run on the attack. So if we take a look at how this first fight plays out, you can see the Charge slowly move up. Hotbutt bubbles himself for a little bit of energy, then steps away from the shield. Because obviously he doesn't want to get hooked. And this is something the Charge do consistently, with this composition especially. They look for pulls, and they have Shu nade the pull. Now obviously this will never really lead, as Happy gets a nice little kill here on Carpe. This will never really lead to a kill, but this forces the front line to be a little more defensive. Obviously, these nades can never get eaten. There's no diva on the side of Fusion, but anytime they get hit by this big nade, they're gonna have to hide. They're gonna have to give up a little bit of space. They won't be able to be as aggressive, which again allows the snipers of the Charge to start making space or taking space rather. Now the wall does come out here. This is a little bit sloppy by Rio. He wasn't ready for the wall. Didn't scout the Mei. And he steps in a little too far, takes a little too much damage before putting down the shield and ends up dying. Carpe obviously gets res, but the biggest thing is here. Like, as you can see, the snipers are already taking the flank. Even the Rio dies, he dies in a position where he can get resed. He gets resed, and you can see both snipers for Philly moving up, taking flanking angles. Another pull comes out, a wall comes out as well, bubble. Even though Rio gets hooked, you can't convert on this pull. The only thing it does, it feeds Hotbutt energy. He's coming up on 50 here. And that's all you're doing. You're just neutralizing the threats here. While Happy is taking a flank, he's taking Carpe out of the fight. You know, he's pulling Carpe with him. And Nero is taking a nice little angle on the side. He's also taking high ground. And now Nero can help and push Carpe. So Carpe is in a lot of trouble. He does have to mark Happy, but he's also getting pushed into 2v1. Well, these guys, all they have to do is survive. And again, very difficult for you to convert kills here if you're Philly Fusion. And obviously Carpe dies because he gets 2-on-1. Nice little pull and another kill. And the Charge end up taking first relatively easily. Like I said, you can't really mark both of the snipers because you are playing a Mei, and the Mei doesn't give you as much value because you can't really block hooks because there's no hooks to be blocked, right? Now heading into the second point, same thing. As we'll see here. As soon as Happy uses his wall hack, Carpe has to fall back, play more defensively. It allows Happy to move in on the flank here. Another pull. Blocked by the bubble. And really, again, the front line only playing slow, trying to set up their flankers for success. Happy gets a really nice flank angle here on the right side. Hotba, pre-bubbles here. Oops. And again, Carpe under so much pressure. It's so difficult for Carpe to deal with both of these snipers. Wherever he goes, he's exposed. Very, very difficult. Another pull comes out, blocked by a bubble. So far, Poku not getting value out of any of his pulls. So not much you can really do. Whereas the Charge, they also have a lot of combos with this composition. They have the pull dragon combo, obviously. They also have a very viable nano target. Really, with this composition, anytime you see Ana being run with these micro compositions, it's hard to find a good nano target, right? We've seen the Hanzos being nanoed a lot. We saw, most teams just nano the Hanzo. Hanzo goes in with the Storm Arrow and probably converts skills. But Zarya, very, very good hero to nano, especially when she's charged up. And you also have another safe way to close out the fight with a Graviton. And you can see Hotba just cleans up here with his Graviton and the nano boost. Okay, so heading into King's Row, same thing here. The Charge scout the composition. They go back to spawn, and they swap to the same composition. They swap to the double sniper and the Zarya. Now, in this case, the Fusion are not even playing the Widow anymore. Carpe is on the Hanzo here. But still, it's going to be very difficult for him to mark the two snipers. And if you take a look at how the Charge play, again, just a double bubble to block the hook. Hook is blocked. Bubble from the Charge. Shu's nade is coming in. Shu's nade hits. It forces out the Immortality field. And you get a little bit of space. Slowly you're taking space. As Happy is creeping up here on one side, Nero is going to be creeping up on the other. We take a look at Hotba. Not a lot of energy yet. He's only blocked the hooks, but really he's going to amp up as the fight progresses. And this composition isn't really about Hotba. It's only about neutralizing the fact that Fusion can go first with their pull hooks. Like you see, anytime you have map control here, you're always going to be able to go for the pull hook first here, like the Philly Fusion did, but you're never going to get value if you're running, if the Charge are running Zarya. Now, Happy here is up on an off angle. You can already see what the Chargers are setting up. They're slowly taking map control, just like they did on Volskaya. Carpe obviously realizes this. He can never let Happy take this or this angle and just sandwich them, so he has to come in here and contest him. Again, we see another pull here from Charge. Shu throws in a nade. And again, never getting any kills with these. But just disrupting them a little bit, giving them things to think about, forcing out Immortality field, all those things matter here. Now, Carpe, Chara unfortunately dies here to Carpe. Carpe catches him, but Happy ends up trading the kill pretty swiftly here. With a nice little shot. And you can see this trade, obviously you lose the Mercy, it kind of sucks, but you still have a lot of sustain with Diana. And this enables Happy to actually start taking the flank. Again, wall comes up for EQO, but you can't really do much with it. Now it's up to EQO to actually mark Happy and clear this, but naturally EQO already used this wall. He can't do it for another 4 seconds. So this gives Happy an opening to commit to the flank if he chooses to do so. Nero also pressuring from here. So ton of pressure on the... And as you can see, the nade misses here, but same play over and over again. Hotba amped up now, 60 energy. He's getting closer and closer. Still has double bubble here, so very difficult for the Fusion to kind of push out of that corner. They're reacting to everything correctly, but it's just very difficult with their comp. Now EQO is on the marking duty. But really, you're losing so much control on the point. They're trying to contest Nero, but he just climbs over the wall and then it comes right back up. So many threats from so many different angles, and you can't utilize one of your biggest advantages if you're the Fusion, which is the pull hook. You can never land one. Or even if you do, you can never convert a kill. Nero continues to pressure here from the left, as we can see. They use window, pull hook comes out, nade comes out, hook misses even if it landed, bubble is there. Nice little sleep. And very nice setup here. As soon as Nero climbs over this wall, it's clear that, and obviously he's used Sonic here. So he's setting up for a nice little dragon angle. Very popular dragon angle, even last season. You're going to see the pull coming in here for Rio as well. Set this up. Very unlucky that Boombox doesn't get pulled into this. Could have easily been a double. And now it's, you know, you just have to make plays if you are the Fusion. You pretty much have to flank and you have to hope for the best. Happy goes up in the window, as we can see there in the middle. Carpet comes up here. He gets nanoed, as we talked about. He wins the duel. At the same time, EQO pushes up here. Like I said, you can never give Happy this angle. He got it for a moment and immediately punched the Fusion, but EQO does well here to push him off. Carpe still flanking with a nano boost, trying to make more plays. Chara goes for a very bad res here. You can never go for this res, and dies as well. If Chara doesn't die there, you probably win the fight. You just kind of play slow. You pocket these tanks and Hotba with you know, half energy. He can definitely carry this fight. But as soon as he dies, the fight is kind of over. But even so, like, just through this pressure, look how much it took for the Fusion to win the fight. They had to clutch the fight. It cost them a dragon here as well. Shu unfortunately steps into the dragon for some reason. But they had to clutch out the fight. A lot of individual plays had to be made on Fusion's side, and it cost them their entire ult economy. Whereas now the Charge have pretty much all of their ults coming up. They have they have wall hack, they have Hot Buzz ultimate, and that's another thing. When there's no Matrix, now actually there is Matrix in place, because Poco just realized, well, for 2 maps I haven't landed a single pull hook. I can't play this hero anymore, so he swapped to the D.Va. But still, you have a very good ultimate to close the fight with here, with Hot Buzz Graviton. Obviously, gonna struggle to consistently get a lot of energy, but okay, wallhack comes out. It immediately means that Happy's gonna be able to take a lot of space. You break the shield with the bongos. Again, pressuring from different angles. Happy's on one side, these guys are on the other. You have to use wall to just zone these guys off, and just a ton of pressure that the Charge put on you. And eventually Hotwing can just step in and kill him with the Graviton. Now if we fast forward a little bit to the next fight, if we look at the swaps that the Fusion are making, they go double sniper, Poco's on the D.Va. I wouldn't be really, I mean, I can't say with certainty, but I would guess that they haven't really played this composition. They presumably have just practiced Mei a ton on this map. You know, Orisa Hog is very popular, but now they forced the Fusion to adapt on the fly because the Fusion weren't getting any value out of their composition. Now, Carpe, and again, you also have the double sniper here on the Fusion side, so your job is to try and mark the other snipers. And if you can just manage to do that, then maybe you can still kind of salvage this point. And that's what you kind of see the Fusion doing. They're flanking, they're trying to contest. Nade hits EQO, so he has to fall back. And this is something that Zarya does very well as well. As long as she's charged up, she can shove the snipers out of the way. Hotboy gets pocket here, and he basically controls that side of the map. Poco tries to control this side, and Happy was actually flanking from all the way around, and then he came out here. A little bit of a creative play. But now Fusion kind of lost control here. They lost control of the what in some of my previous teams we called banana, this area of the map. So this flank has opened up, and it's going to be very difficult for you to mark all the snipers. And if we take a look at what happens, now Happy takes that flank. Dragon comes out from Nero. You don't really get any value, but it doesn't really matter. Again, you're just playing slow. You're playing basically to enable your snipers. You can see Nero goes on one side, Happy goes on the other. Consistently, that's what they're doing. Happy shows, takes a shot. Now Carpe has to worry about that angle because he saw the Widow. Poco also has to worry about that angle. You can see Poco migrates to contest that side. Which means as soon as Poco abandons this side, Hotba can take advantage and punish Carpe. Harper gets pushed out. And amid all of this chaos, because you're forcing the fusion to look in so many different directions, the the fight in the front line is also being lost, with Hotba finally charged up to 100. Again, as I said, if nothing happens, if the fight goes on for a long time, that's how Hotba can eventually get charged up and just basically carry these fights. And Sada ends up dying. Happy just falls back. Now Carpe is going for this flank, but I mean, it's going to be difficult, right? Even though the res goes off here, Poco has to take a lot of damage for it. Happy dies, but Carpe is obviously in a position where he's most likely going to die, as he does here. And now you can res this. So even though the res came off for Philly Fusion, you're still one man down. Both reses came out for both teams. And you lost your sniper. You lost your sniper, which means Nero immediately takes the flank. Happy takes the other side. And again, you look at these positions, nothing the charge can do. You throw the nano on Hotba, and he can just carry the fight once again. And now heading to the next point, Sado, we'll see Boombox and Sado swap. Again, I can guarantee you these guys probably haven't practiced double sniper Winston Zen on third point. It seems like just an adjustment on the fly, because they can't really get stuff done. And if we take a look at this fight, again, Walleye comes out. Nice little pull hook. Dragon comes out, but what is Sado really going to be doing against the double sniper and a fully charged Zarya? Very difficult for him to dive in or do anything on the Winston. Dragon does come out here, but only really charges Hotba's ultimate. And remember, Hotba still has his ult here if he can get it off. That's a guaranteed fight win. And like I said, if you are on the Winston, you can never contest this payload. So this payload is just free moving the entire way up to here. Now you're essentially in one fight territory, because you haven't been able to stop the payload. And there's no way for Sado to push up or do anything. He's essentially dying. Again, Hotba, when he's fully charged, he can sort of take control of certain areas on the map by himself. And now you end up in a situation again where you need clutch plays to salvage this if you're Philly Fusion. They eventually heal up and they try to look for it. Ikko climbs up, bomb comes out. Sado does kill Happy. We'll see Nero here. Nice little trade on Ikko. And as soon as Ikko dies, this is kind of over. Again, resable. Not really resable. Well, actually it might be resable here. Yeah, it's actually resable. But while you're resing, again, so much pressure that no one stopped the payload forever, so the payload's already here. Even though Hotba completely whiffs this, Graviton, we end up just closing the fight out. So, interesting little composition by the Charge, I thought. Maybe not one that's going to work all the time, but it does seem like, and again, not something you would ever commit to on a defense. If you see this as a defensive composition, in terms of what the Charge are running, very easy to counter. You can play different dive compositions. You can play a lot of different things that will counter this. But on attack against especially the Mei Hog, I felt like this was a pretty wise choice. You saw how easily the Charge managed to win these two fights or these two maps on their attacks. So interesting little tidbit. They were the only one who kind of innovated with this, and let's hope we'll see more innovative compositions like this for the next couple of weeks as teams develop their 2-2 play.